Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well today. So today's track is probably nothing that you would have expected at this point. You know, I do all these tracks where they're these massive nationals or super like realistic replicas, and now we're just riding around a back garden by the looks of it. This track is made by Green Lennox. Some of you may know who he is. He tends to kind of stick more towards the gear side of things nowadays and making bike graphics. But this is his one and only track that he released for us, and just going in the MX Bikes mods post that he put alongside it, I just thought it was really cool, so I'm just going to read it now for you. It says, "I finally released my first track for MX Bikes. It's a track made by my father 12 years ago. It works very well on a pit bike, but you can use the 252. And as soon as I read that, am I going the right way? I am going the right way. It really struck a chord with me, because I remember when I was little riding around on my my little KTM 50 for the first time. I had a track near me called Joy Scream, and if you're from I suppose if you're from the southeast of England at all in the slightest, you'll know the track Joy Scream. It's was quite a popular one down here. And it had no more than, I want to say, maybe 8 or so corners in the whole track. It had one tiny tabletop that if you was lucky you'd get any sort of lift from whatsoever. And it just kind of, it made me remember of those days a little bit. And I think I've said before in a video, my goal in life is eventually just to own a tiny bit of land and have a turn track so I can ride my bike whenever I want. Like, I don't want anything amazing and massive and special. Literally a couple of turns and a tiny tabletop would do me quite nicely. I just absolutely love riding my bike, and it's these sorts of tracks that, it kind of sounds a bit weird, making me kind of reminisce and getting a bit nostalgic. But I remember this track, Joyce Green, back in the day. I remember learning like to ride my 50 on it for the first time. And then when I moved up to a 65 and I had to learn gears, that was the same track that I rode as well. This is obviously, there's a kid's track that I'm talking about. Some of you might be like, well, what's going about only 8 corners? The track's massive, but no, there was a kid's track and an adult's track, which in turn I then eventually moved on to as well. This track, I may as well have turned up with Supermoto tyres on. It was so hard pack, it was unreal. You could turn up with a fresh tyre and go home by the end of the day with it looking almost bald. But I absolutely loved it, and maybe that's what stemmed my love of hard pack tracks in the first place. Those longer term viewers of the channel might know that I'm not a massive fan of sand in real life. MX Bikes is a bit different. I really like sand tracks in this game. I'm a massive fan of hard pack in real life. I like being really precise on the throttle. And I struggle just to let it hang out sometimes on sand. It's much easier said than done, which I feel like is quite an opposite opinion to a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people prefer sand over hard pack in real life, but I don't mind being the minority. It's I find hard pack very fun. I'm sure there's a few people that share the same opinion as well, but I thought it would be good fun. I know that Greenie said to ride a pit bike on this, but I thought it would be a good chance to show off the mini bikes again. You know, I loaded up the YZ85, as you can see here. I did want to ride the CRF 150, however I haven't got round to it yet. Ever since I downloaded it, it's had no engine sound, and I didn't want a silent video. I still wanted a bit of noise, even if it sounds like a wasp going on in the background. But no, I thought this would be a good second place. Obviously, I'm a fan of my Yamahas anyway. Back in my 85 days, the only 85 I ever rode was a CR85. Funnily enough, I think I went through 2 of them in total. I had a small wheel, and then I converted it to a big wheel, but it got to a point where we had so many spare parts, we ended up just making 2 bikes anyway. And I remember getting to an age where, I know some of you might be able to relate, some of you young people, where you're just going to cross over to the big bikes in the next year or so, but you're not quite ready to move up, but you're outgrowing the 85, and I ended up putting like a larger frame on it and all sorts, trying to accommodate for me getting bigger. But I still remember, like, if you land some jumps extra hard, your knees would still hit the handlebars, and it was awful. I definitely should have moved up a year sooner than I did, but with that sort of thing, there's no point rushing it, because once you move up to the big bikes, that's it forever. You're gone then at that point, and it's onwards and upwards from there. But I do miss the old days of the smaller bikes, because I went for a stage of like literally going racing every weekend. Like it was my family's entire life at that point was taking me racing. I mean, my grandparents always used to go and watch me race every weekend. They still do now when I'm racing. Obviously, it's usually it's like once every couple of months at this point, because the rest of the family have their own lives now. As much as I wish I was the centre of attention every weekend, obviously that's not the case, that's not realistic at all, but it's bringing back some nice memories for me, which is really good. And I know that that's probably not what he expected to do at all by this. He was reliving his own memories by making a track that he rode when he was little, but it's just nice to be able to relate. Maybe one day, if I ever get round to learning the ins and outs of track making on this game, I'll give it a shot as well, because there's certainly a few tracks that I used to race and still ride very, very rarely nowadays. I would love to get into this game. There's only a handful of tracks in this game that I have ridden in real life. One of them being Mildenall's in the game, another one being Canada Heights that Jin made, so there are a couple if I want to go and live out real life in game, so to speak, but there's a few more that I'd like as well at some point. What I'm going to do real quick, where is my change camera button? Let me hop in first person, see what this is like. I thought I'd remove all of the usual overlays and stuff, because this video isn't really about trying to go fast and setting good lap times. Oh, and little Easter egg here, I thought I'd test it out. If you want to see what Greeno looks like, just look on my gloves. Let me rev it so you can see him a bit better. There on the right, there he is down there. I've had a couple of people in comments actually asking in videos, like, is it me on my gloves? But no, someone by the name of Frosty, who's since left the community, made a glove pack way back when, and I think he was good friends with Greeno, so shoved his face on some gloves, so I do rep them every now and then. I know sometimes I make an appearance in my my hot lap videos, more just for the memes more than anything. There just seems to be like an ongoing, like, friendly relationship between him and me. I mean, I changed my nationality in the MX Bikes Discord from English to French just for the banter as well. So it's all good fun. And I did double check with him before making this video. Actually, thank God that tree hasn't got collisions. I wanted to see if he'd made any other tracks. Because I tried going back through his profile on the MX Bikes Mods website and it wouldn't let me go back past a certain point, but no, he did confirm this is the only track he's made. And I'll tell you what, I feel like more people should make this sort of thing for their first project. I know some people try and kind of hit it out of the park first time round, but little tracks like this, where they're just meant for a bit of fun, really don't hurt anybody, and there's not enough of them in this game, I don't think. I can imagine how much a laugh it would be getting a couple of friends on here, either on the 85s or the pit bikes, for example, just having a rip around and having a bit of fun. Like, not even to race against each other properly. I can imagine just coming into these corners and squaring each other up and trying to take each other out will be good fun. The track right now is getting a lot rougher than it normally would. I've got my Erode on 5 times multiplier at the moment. Just for my own purpose, really. If I hop in testing when I'm bored every now and then. I feel like I usually run 3. I did hop on, do 2 laps prior to starting recording the video, just to make sure everything was all working fine. Oh, almost went over the bars there. Just to make sure it's working fine, yeah, sorry. And the road wasn't really doing much, so I upped it to 5, and this seems to be much better. It's getting a little bit rougher for me, which again entails the whole kind of back garden kind of feel. So I'm not sure if this is something that Greeny had in his back garden or not, or if it was like a public kind of park / foresty area. See, I know in the UK we're a bit scarce when it comes to like free land that we can do things like this in, but you quite often see kind of like BMX jump trails and things like that off in random woods here or there, so I imagine it might be that kind of scenario where it's just a random public set of woods and people just turn up and ride, really. I think it's really cool that he mentioned that his dad made the track. Obviously I don't have those sort of facilities at all to do anything like that. One day, that is the one thing that I've got on my bucket list, really. I'm very content with things in my life, and I'm not the biggest of dreamers, but if there was one thing that I could ever ask for more than anything else, it is to have just a small bit of land out the back of the house and to have a little turn track there and not be screwed over by UK noise complaints, because god damn it, there's so many tracks that were close to me that have been shut down over the years due to noise complaints. I think it's probably kind of the only reason that I'm not 100% against electric bikes at this point. I definitely think they're more catered towards the European side of things than American. I know you Americans have it. Are so lucky you've got all these amazing tracks around you. Obviously that's not going to be the case for everybody in America. I'm just speaking from what I've seen. But for me, if I want to go to a practice track, I have one that's maybe 40 minutes away, and then after that it's 2 hours. There's no real in between at all. So I mean, you take what you get at the end of the day. I suppose that's probably another reason why I'm not riding every single weekend, just because the travel side of things as well. But it is what it is. I wish we had some more tracks around here. Oh god, make it! Oh, actually, I'm gonna. I know I said I wasn't taking this seriously. I always do this. I get over competitive. I feel like now that jump's got a bit of a lip on it, I might be able to clear the whole thing. Let's get to a gear that I'm not going to bog out the corner. Oh no! Stretch it! Stretch it! Oh, I survive! No, that's a rip. That is a big rip. But I think that will conclude it for me. This has been much more fun than I ever expected it to be. And again, it's probably one of them tracks where if I sit down here one night and I've got a spare 10-20 minutes and I'm bored, oddly enough, this is the sort of track that I would load up and play just for a bit of fun. Yeah, I definitely would say if you download this track, it will be in the description. Like I link all the tracks I do videos on, even though people always still comment it, even though it's in the description. Little rant right there. Shit. What was I going to say now? No, I highly would recommend doing this, and I would recommend doing it with the road turned up as well, because it just adds that little bit more character to the track. Just that little bit of more fun that it needs. Much better riding it when it's a little bit bumpy and rough than being completely smooth. I will try and send this jump one more time before I let you guys go. Oh no, it's too rough coming out of the corner now. I can't quite get it, but no, that'll do it for me. I'm very, very happy that I found this. Some people said to do it a bit jokingly a couple of times, and I hadn't even looked at the track before to know what it entailed. But I'm very glad that I did, because it's just a good laugh. It's much more fun than I would ever expect, and I think you guys and your friends will really enjoy it as well. So go give it a download. Shout out to Greeno as well for making this. We definitely need more stuff like this in MX Bikes. And overall, that'll do it from me. Please do drop a like on the video if you did enjoy. It really helps grow the channel overall and just help spread the video out to more people. Leave a comment down below if there's any tracks in particular you want me to cover. Do check the channel to see if I've done it already. I feel like I've covered quite a fair amount of tracks in recent times. And that'll do it from me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Really appreciating the growth recently, and enjoy the rest of the day. Most importantly, whatever it is that you're up to, just enjoy yourself. Until I catch you guys in the next video, peace.
Got bad shit all up in my mind right now. Fuck it, give me a minute and I'ma let it all out. I don't give a shit about an opinion, be another dimension when I wake up. Bitch, it's time to fill the cup. Got no fucking love, I feel so stuck on my luck. Get fucked.